You want to succeed. You want to rise above average, break free from the endless cycle of distraction, laziness, and false starts. But some days, no matter how much you want it, you can't get yourself to do what you know you should. You waste time. You scroll when you should be moving. You put off the hard things until tomorrow only to wake up and repeat the same cycle. And then you hate yourself for it. You tell yourself you'll change, but the next day feels just like the last. Here's the truth. It's not because you're lazy. You're not broken. You're not weak. The real problem is simple. Your mind hasn't been trained yet. The gap between the life you're living now and the life you want doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from luck. It doesn't come from some hidden secret that other people know but you don't. It comes down to one thing: mental discipline. This audiobook isn't about giving you fake motivation that fades by noon. It's about helping you take control of your mind so you can stop wasting time, stop waiting for permission, and finally start living like your future depends on your actions, because it does. You'll learn how to stop letting distractions win, how to build habits that actually stick, how to control your thoughts before they control you. You don't need more hours in the day, you need stronger control of the hours you already have. And it all starts with a choice. One choice, one thought, one day at a time. What separates the winners from the watchers? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even intelligence. It's this: winners do what needs to be done with no excuses. Even when it's boring. Even when it's painful. Even when no one's watching. Most people already know what they should be doing. That's not the problem. The problem is they don't do it. They wait. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for the perfect mood. They wait for motivation to strike like lightning. But here's the reality. Motivation isn't what builds a strong life. Discipline does. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is a fire. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Discipline means you don't wait for the right mood. You act because it's necessary. You move because it matters. You push forward not because you feel like it, but because the future you want requires it. Excuses? They're everywhere. Anyone can find one. I'm tired. I'm not ready. I'll start tomorrow. Those are the phrases of the stuck. That's the language of delay. And let me be clear, every time you let excuses win, you hand over your future to weakness. Discipline is the opposite. Discipline silences the noise in your head. It's standing up when your body says sit down. It's moving forward when your mind whispers stop. It's choosing to do the hard thing because deep down you know the easy choice is stealing your future. That's how discipline is built. Not in the moments when it's easy, but in the moments when everything inside you screams for comfort, and you choose growth anyway. Think about it. When you sit down to study while your friends are scrolling, you're building discipline. When you wake up on time instead of smashing the snooze button, you're building discipline. When you finish the task even though you're tired, you're building discipline. Each time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen the muscle of self-control. But the reverse is also true. Every time you give in, every time you skip, every time you delay, you weaken that muscle. You teach your mind that excuses have more power than action. So ask yourself, where do you want to be a year from now? What kind of life do you want to wake up to? Who do you want staring back at you in the mirror? The only thing standing between that vision and your reality is your ability to act without excuses. This doesn't mean you'll never fail. You will. But the difference between the disciplined and the undisciplined isn't perfection. It's recovery. The disciplined fail, but they get back up. The disciplined fall short, but they reset the next day. The disciplined don't let one bad day turn into a bad week, or a bad month, or a wasted year. They fail forward. They fail fast, and they move on. You don't need to do everything right now. You don't need to fix your entire life in a single day. But you must stop avoiding the one thing that will move you forward. Maybe it's the phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the workout you keep skipping. Maybe it's the business plan sitting half-written. Maybe it's the habit you keep promising you'll start someday. Here's the truth. Someday is not on the calendar. There is only today. Stop giving yourself an exit. Stop waiting for someone else to push you. Push yourself. Start with what's in front of you. Wake up on time. Write the schedule. Follow the plan. Do the one thing. Then do the next thing. Build momentum, not excuses. Because your discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you skip it, the weaker it becomes. And yes, your mind will resist. It will tell you it's too much. It will try to protect you from effort. It will whisper, "Take it easy." But that resistance is not danger. That resistance is growth. Discipline is not suffering. It's not punishment. It's freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from regret. Freedom from a weak version of yourself. Every time you win a small battle, waking up on time, staying focused, following through, you gain confidence. You gain energy. You gain self-respect. Because deep down, you know you can trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you stop being a dreamer and start being a doer. So how do you begin? Start small. Wake up and do one hard thing. Then another. Then another. Discipline doesn't start with grand gestures. It starts with small wins stacked daily. Make your bed. Write the plan. Close the app. Do the work. These choices seem small, but they build something massive: self-respect. And once you respect yourself, you stop negotiating with laziness. Yes, discipline costs something. Costs comfort. Costs easy days. Costs wasted time. But look at what it buys. Clarity, strength, pride, and a future most people only dream about. And you know what's even harder than discipline? Regret. Regret is living with the knowledge that you had time, had opportunities, had chances, but wasted them because you gave in to every excuse. That's a heavy life. That's a silent pain. But it's avoidable. You can change it today. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. So stop waiting for the right feeling. Stop asking your emotions for permission. Stop lowering your standards just because they feel heavy. You are capable of more. But you must prove it to yourself. Not with words, not with plans, but with action. One choice at a time. One thought at a time. One day at a time. Do what needs to be done without excuses. Because once you build that discipline, everything else begins to fall into place. If you don't learn how to control your mind, the world will do it for you. That's not a motivational line. That's a fact. Every single day, your brain is bombarded with noise. Opinions from people, endless media updates, social pressures, distractions, fears, doubts, old memories pulling you backward, worries pulling you forward. And if you don't take control of your thinking, all of that chaos becomes your mindset. And when your mindset is chaos, your life becomes chaos. You stop leading. You start reacting. You stop choosing. You start following. You stop deciding. You start drifting. Then one day you look around and realize your life looks nothing like what you wanted. And it's not because you didn't work hard. It's not because you didn't care. It's because you never trained your mind to think with clarity, direction, and discipline. Strong mental discipline always begins with strong mental awareness. Before you build habits, before you set goals, before you take action, you must understand who's in charge inside your head. Your thoughts shape everything. They decide how you see yourself. They decide how you respond to stress. They decide how you handle setbacks and opportunities. They decide whether you shrink in fear or rise with courage. And here's the hard truth. If you don't take charge of your thoughts will take charge of you. You don't control everything that happens to you. But you do control how you think about it. That's your power. The same problem can make one person stronger and another person bitter. The same failure can make one person wiser and another person weaker. The difference isn't the situation, it's the meaning you give it. That meaning comes from your thinking. When something goes wrong, do you see it as proof that you should quit? Or proof that you should grow? When you feel pressure, do you freeze? Or do you focus? When life gets unfair, do you play victim? Or do you play leader? The answers come from one place, your mindset. Most people don't even realize how automatic their thinking has become. They wake up and their head is already crowded with doubts, regrets, fears, and distractions. By the time they start their day, their focus is gone, their energy is drained, and they're reacting instead of choosing. It's not because they don't have time. It's not because they're not smart. It's because they never trained their mind. You must stop letting your thoughts run wild without direction. Discipline means you decide what thoughts get to live in your head. Don't just think, manage your thinking. Notice it, question it, replace it if you have to. If a thought makes you weaker, get rid of it. If a thought keeps you stuck, challenge it. If a thought keeps dragging you into the past or the future, anchor yourself back into the present. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. Because mental discipline isn't about forcing yourself to be positive. It's about choosing thoughts that are useful. Sometimes useful means calm. Sometimes useful means tough and direct. Sometimes useful means focused and sharp. But useful thinking is never chaotic. It's never lazy. It's never careless. Controlled thinking is intentional. It knows where it's going. It doesn't let fear hijack the steering wheel. But here's the challenge. The world trains you to react instantly. Notifications, headlines, conversations, they all demand your attention now. No pause. No reflection. Just reaction. Discipline begins when you learn to pause. Before you respond, before you decide, before you act, pause. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is this thought true? Is this thought based on fact or on fear? Is this thought moving me closer to the life I want, or further away from it? If the answer is no, let it go. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every feeling deserves your reaction. An undisciplined mind wastes energy on what it cannot control. A disciplined mind saves energy for what matters. That's the difference between chaos and clarity. Training your mind is like training your body. If you feed your body junk, it becomes weak. If you feed your mind junk, endless scrolling, shallow conversations, toxic input, it becomes weak too. Your brain isn't built for constant noise. It needs clarity. It needs focus. It needs silence. You must feed your mind the right input. Challenge it with problems that stretch you. Give it rest from constant stimulation. Cut down the endless digital noise. If you don't give your brain structure, it will drift. And a drifting brain always creates a drifting life. So how do you build mental discipline? Start your day with direction. Don't just roll out of bed and grab your phone. Don't let the world decide your mindset before you've even had a chance to breathe. Wake up, anchor your thoughts, and set your focus. Review your priorities. Remind yourself what matters. Define your goals clearly. Then filter every thought through that lens. If a thought doesn't serve your purpose, discard it. If a distraction doesn't move you closer, cut it out. This isn't about controlling everything. It's about protecting your attention. Your focus is like money. If you spend it carelessly on every distraction, you'll be broke by noon. But if you invest it wisely into the things that matter, you'll build a fortune of progress. Most people fail not because they don't work hard, but because their attention is scattered. They can't hold one thought long enough to finish anything. They can't stick with one task without switching. They can't resist the urge to check, scroll, or drift. That's not freedom. That's weakness. The disciplined person does the opposite. They pick one thought and hold it. They pick one task and finish it. They say no to distractions even when it feels uncomfortable. That's mental power. That's control. When your mind is trained, your choices become clear. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You know when to act and when to wait. You know what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You don't need to control the world, you just need to control your mind. Because the person who can think clearly under pressure, who can stay calm in chaos, who can choose wisely when everyone else is panicking, that person wins. Not because life got easier, but because they got stronger. And it's not just about winning, it's about peace. A disciplined mind is a peaceful mind. You don't wake up in panic. You don't carry stress all day. You don't fall apart when something goes wrong. You pause. You think. You respond from clarity, not chaos. That's strength. That's maturity. That's self-leadership. And make no mistake, this takes time. You won't master it overnight. But every time you stop a negative thought, every time you choose a stronger one, every time you catch yourself drifting and pull your mind back, you're doing a mental rep. You're building the muscle of self-control. The results are invisible at first, but they show up in every area of your life. Your relationships improve. Your work gets sharper. Your decisions get smarter. Your confidence rises. But only if you put in the work. Mental discipline is earned. It requires full responsibility for what goes on in your head. That means no more blaming circumstances. No more saying, "That's just how I think." Change your thinking. Upgrade it. Clean it. And remember, controlling your mind doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means managing it with awareness. It means not speaking just to release pressure, not acting just to feel better for a moment. It means slowing down, thinking it through, and making choices that serve your future, not your mood. That's how you take your power back. Not by trying to control people or the world, but by controlling yourself. A disciplined mind doesn't need perfect conditions. It creates progress through clarity. It shows up even when it's hard. It doesn't wait to feel ready. It gets ready through action. Start treating your thoughts like clothes. Don't just wear whatever lands in front of you. Choose carefully. Pick the thoughts that fit your future. Pick the ones that make you stronger. Leave behind the ones that keep you stuck. And never forget, the world is full of noise, but you decide what gets in. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them. And the stronger your choices become, the stronger your life becomes. So take control, or life will control you. Every person has a future, but not every person protects it. The truth is, your future doesn't collapse in one catastrophic moment. It doesn't get destroyed by a single bad day, a single mistake, or a single failure. No, it's not the one dramatic event that ruins people. It's the quiet, repeated, careless choices they make every single day. The weak choices, the just this once choices, the it's not a big deal choices. One small decision at a time. That's how people delay, dilute, and sometimes even completely destroy their potential. Not by disaster, but by routine weakness. Think about it. You say you'll work out, but you skip. You say you'll focus, but you drift. You say you'll save money, but you spend it. You say you'll wake up early, but you hit snooze. Individually, none of these moments feel like they matter. But stacked together, over time, they create a life you don't want. They write a story you never intended to live. And that's why weak choices are dangerous. Not because they hurt right away, but because they trick you into thinking they don't matter. But they do. Every single one matters. Here's what you need to understand. Your future is being built in the small decisions you make today. Every single choice is either strengthening you or weakening you. Skipping the workout seems harmless, but it weakens your discipline. Procrastinating seems small, but it weakens your momentum. Scrolling for hours seems normal, but it weakens your focus. Spending money without thought seems fine, but it weakens your stability. And the worst part? When you repeat weak choices long enough, they stop feeling weak. They start feeling normal. That's how people stay stuck for years. Not because they don't care, not because they don't have potential, but because they've convinced themselves their weak patterns aren't a problem. They say, "I'll get serious tomorrow. This one time won't matter. I deserve a break." But tomorrow never comes. And this one time becomes 10 years. Weak choices don't just slow you down. They silently reprogram your standards. They make inconsistency your baseline. They make procrastination your comfort zone. They make mediocrity your new normal. That's how potential dies. Quietly. If your future matters to you, your decisions have to reflect it. You can't build strength on top of inconsistency. You can't build wealth on top of careless spending. You can't build focus while chasing distractions. You can't build clarity while tolerating chaos. The people who succeed mentally, physically, financially, they're not special. They just remove anything that weakens them. And they do it relentlessly. They don't negotiate with bad habits. They don't justify weak patterns. They don't say just this once. They cut. They simplify. They replace weakness with strength. Over and over again. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. Honest enough to admit that some of the things you do right now are pulling you away from the life you say you want. Honest enough to stop defending your bad habits. Honest enough to say, if I keep doing this, I won't get where I want to go. That's the first step. Brutal honesty. Because until you admit that weakness is costing you your future, you'll keep pretending that it's harmless. And nothing will change. So how do you start? You start by calling weak choices what they are: threats to your growth. Stop softening them with excuses. Stop defending them with stories. Stop treating them like small things. Weak choices aren't small. They're expensive. They cost you clarity, time, energy, confidence, self-respect, and ultimately, the life you could have built. Remove them. Not later. Not when it's convenient. Now, that might mean changing your habits. That might mean saying no to people who always pull you backward. That might mean cutting out environments that trigger old patterns. That might even mean changing how you talk to yourself. Then growth. Think about how many times you've told yourself you'd start. How many times you've promised yourself you'd change. Then ask, what stopped you? Most of the time, it wasn't life. It wasn't circumstances. It wasn't anyone else. It was you choosing what felt good in the moment instead of what was right. Weak choices are comfortable. That's what makes them dangerous. They don't feel like weakness when you're in them. They feel like relief. But over time, that relief becomes regret. And regret is heavy. Regret steals your confidence, your energy, your time. Regret is the tax you pay for weakness. That's why you have to cut it. Not because you want to punish yourself, but because you want to free yourself. Because when you start removing weak choices, something amazing happens. Strong choices start to feel easier. Every time you replace a weak choice with a strong one, you build momentum. Every time you say no to distraction, you build focus. Every time you choose discipline, you build pride. And that pride compounds. It makes the next strong choice easier. And the next. And the next. That's how people build unshakable discipline, one strong choice at a time. But here's the truth. It won't be comfortable. Removing weakness means sacrifice. You'll have to walk away from things that once felt good. You'll have to let go of people who don't respect your growth. You'll have to break routines that once felt safe. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like loss. But it's not loss, it's investment. You're trading comfort now for freedom later. Because there's no success without sacrifice. The strongest lives are built by people who made hard choices, cut out weakness, and refused to let comfort run their future. So here's the question. If your future self was standing in front of you right now, watching you, would they thank you for the choices you're making? Or would they be disappointed that you kept choosing comfort over growth? Every strong life is built on tough decisions. Every weak life is built on excuses. And the difference between the two isn't talent. It's choice. So stop pretending weak choices are harmless. They're not. They're costing you everything you say you want. Protect your future. Remove the weakness. Replace it with strength. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Your life is a reflection of your decisions. And it's time to start making decisions that actually reflect the life you want to live. Every single person on this planet wakes up with the exact same gift. 24 hours. No one gets more. No one gets less. And yet, some people move mountains in that time. They build businesses, transform their bodies, strengthen their minds, create wealth, build relationships, and leave a mark on the world. While others wake up, drift, react, and end their day wondering where the hours went. Tired, busy, but with nothing meaningful to show for it. The difference isn't luck. The difference isn't talent. The difference is how they use their time. If you don't decide how your hours are spent, the world will decide for you. And the world doesn't care about your goals. The world doesn't care about your peace. The world doesn't care about your future. If you leave your time open, distractions will take it. Notifications will take it. Other people's requests will take it. The noise of the world will take it. And at the end of the day, you'll feel drained because you gave away your hours without a fight. That's why mental discipline requires one thing above all: ownership of time. Time is not something to manage. You don't manage time the way you manage files or tasks. Time is something you command. You own it. You direct it. You choose what it's worth. And the brutal truth is this. Most people don't control their time. They live in reaction. They're busy all day, but never effective. They confuse motion with progress. They chase what feels urgent instead of what's important. They say yes when they should say no. They fill calendars instead of building lives. And then they wonder why they're exhausted but unfulfilled. Busy does not mean productive. A full schedule does not mean a full life. You don't get rewarded for running in circles. You get rewarded for moving forward. So how do you take control of your time? It starts with a decision. A decision that from now on you will not drift. You will not let the world dictate your hours. You will not keep handing over your minutes to things that don't matter. You will decide intentionally how your time gets used. That means knowing your top priorities before the day even begins. Not after the chaos starts. Not once you're already distracted. When you wake up, your day should already be spoken for. Your hours should already belong to your goals, your health, your growth, your mission. Here's the mistake most people make. They treat time like it's unlimited. They think they'll figure it out later. They think tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Every wasted day is a day you never get back. Think about yesterday. Was it spent in a way that your future self will thank you for? Or was it lost in distractions, in meaningless busyness, in things that drained your energy but gave you nothing in return? That's not a small question. That's the question that decides the direction of your life. Because what you do with today is what creates tomorrow. So let's make this practical. Start by guarding your mornings. The first hour of your day is the foundation of everything. If you give it to your phone, to notifications, to the opinions of other people, you've already lost control. Anchor your mornings in focus. Wake up with a plan. Review your goals. Write down what actually matters. Then protect those priorities like your future depends on them, because it does. This is where boundaries come in. Boundaries with people. Boundaries with habits. Boundaries with yourself. You don't need to respond to every message. You don't need to attend every meeting. You don't need to say yes to every request. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. So be ruthless with your yes. Ruthless with your no. Because your time is sacred. And if you don't protect it, it will get stolen. The disciplined understand something the average person doesn't. Time is energy. Scrolling for hours doesn't just waste time. It drains your energy. Staying up late for no reason doesn't just waste time. It steals tomorrow's focus. Saying yes to every distraction doesn't just waste time. It destroys your momentum. And once your energy is gone, your day is gone. So protect your energy by protecting your time. Now, here's where discipline truly separates people. Most people think they need huge blocks of time to make progress. They say things like, I'll work on my goals when I have 2 free hours. I'll start when I have the whole afternoon. But disciplined people don't wait for perfect conditions. They use what they have. 10 minutes of focus, 20 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of deep work. It all stacks. It all counts. Discipline means using every pocket of time wisely instead of throwing it away because it wasn't perfect. You don't wait for 2 hours, you use the 20 minutes. You don't wait until you feel ready, you start when it's time. That's the mindset that builds momentum. And yes, you will slip. You will waste time sometimes. You will get distracted. But here's the difference. The disciplined don't turn one wasted hour into a wasted day. They recover fast. They reset as soon as they notice. That's the key: recovery, not perfection. Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. You get back on track. You move forward. You don't lose momentum over a single mistake. And one more truth you need to accept. Not everyone will understand your discipline with time. When you stop wasting hours, some people will think you're too serious. When you say no to distractions, some people will think you're too rigid. When you build structure, some people will call you boring. Let them. Because those same people will be the ones wondering how you built the life they wish they had. People waste time and then blame everything but themselves. Don't be one of them. Own your time. Own your energy. Own your day. Remember this: every minute is a seed. What you plant today, you harvest tomorrow. Plant distractions, you harvest regret. Plant focus, you harvest results. Plant excuses, you harvest weakness. Plant discipline, you harvest freedom. You already have the hours. The question is, how will you use them? Don't wait for the world to decide. Decide for yourself. Decide how your time gets used every single day. Because if you don't, your future is already lost. Let's be brutally honest. Your brain is not designed for growth by default. It's designed for survival. And survival means one thing: seek comfort, avoid effort. That's why you find yourself scrolling instead of studying, sleeping in instead of moving, talking about goals instead of working on them. It's not that you're lazy. It's that your brain is doing what it was built to do: keep you safe, keep you comfortable, keep you away from struggle. The problem? Growth lives on the other side of struggle. So if you want progress, you have to retrain your brain. You have to teach it that comfort is not the reward, comfort is the trap. Laziness is sneaky. It doesn't always look like lying in bed all day. Sometimes laziness hides behind phrases like, "I'll do it later," "I need a break," "I'll get serious tomorrow." Comfort is even trickier. Feels good. Feels safe. Tells you that you've done enough. It whispers that you deserve to relax. Convinces you that tomorrow will be a better time to start. But here's the truth. If you let comfort make your decisions, it will steal years of your life. Years. You'll look back and realize you were capable of so much more, but you gave it all away to easy choices. That's why discipline isn't about waiting for motivation. It's about training your brain to move even when it doesn't want to. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you don't train it, it stays weak. But if you push it, if you resist comfort and act in discomfort, it grows stronger. Every time you do the thing you want to avoid, you're reprogramming your system. When you wake up earlier than you want, you're training it. When you move your body when you're tired, you're training it. When you focus when your mind wants to wander, you're training it. Each act of resistance is a rep. Each rep rewires your brain to stop seeing discomfort as danger and start seeing it as growth. But make no mistake, comfort is seductive. It's the reason you scroll longer than you should. It's the reason you sit when you know you should move. It's the reason you keep choosing what's fun instead of what's necessary. And most dangerous of all, it feels harmless. You don't notice the damage until the days blur together, and suddenly nothing has changed. That's how comfort kills ambition. Not with a loud crash, but with a quiet whisper. Here's what you need to do. Create friction with comfort. If your comfort zone is waking up late, start setting an alarm earlier and get up before your brain can argue. If your comfort zone is procrastinating, start with one small step before your mind has time to resist. If your comfort zone is distraction, remove the triggers, turn off notifications, move your phone, clean your space. Make laziness harder to choose. Make discipline easier to access. Because discipline isn't just about willpower. It's about environment. It's about systems. It's about setting up your life so the right choice is easier to make than the wrong one. And when resistance hits, and it will, your brain will fight back. It will scream for comfort. It will try to negotiate. It will tell you, not today. That's the critical moment. That's the test. If you can push through in that moment, even when it's boring, even when it feels pointless, you shift from being someone who reacts to someone who decides. That's where mental toughness is born. Not in big, dramatic moments, but in the small, silent battles where no one is watching and no one will applaud you. When you finish the workout no one saw. When you stay focused on the task no one is tracking. When you resist the distraction no one knew about. Those small wins build a mind that doesn't fold under pressure. Here's the trap you need to avoid. Rewarding yourself with comfort before you've earned it. If you keep giving yourself rest without effort, your brain learns a dangerous pattern: reward without work. And once your brain expects reward without work, you're finished. Laziness becomes your lifestyle. So teach your brain the opposite. Teach it that reward comes after effort. That comfort feels better after progress. That rest is earned, not assumed. Because the truth is, rest without effort feels empty. But rest after discipline feels powerful. You must also stop making laziness a joke. Too many people laugh about their procrastination. They treat their lack of discipline like a personality trait. It's not funny. It's expensive. Every time you avoid what matters, you're paying with your future. Stop laughing about it. Start fighting it. Interrupt the pattern. Stand up. Change your environment. Move your body. Take one action. Because when you move, your brain follows. Remember this: nobody is born disciplined. Nobody is naturally focused. Nobody wakes up with unshakable willpower. The people you admire, the ones who seem unstoppable, they trained it. They built structure. They built systems. They built habits. They built a brain that doesn't quit at the first sign of discomfort. And if they can build it, so can you. So how do you begin? Start by simplifying the process. If you said you'll wake up at 6, don't lie there debating. Get up before your brain has time to invent excuses. If you said you'll work at 9, be at your desk at 8:30. If you said you'll eat clean, don't keep junk food in the house. Don't leave gaps for laziness to creep in. Give yourself clear rules, clear windows, clear boundaries. The more you reduce choice, the easier it is to choose discipline. And remember, growth is uncomfortable. Progress is uncomfortable. Success is uncomfortable. But the more you expose your brain to discomfort, the more it adapts. The weights that once felt heavy start to feel light. The habits that once felt impossible start to feel natural. That's the reward. Not applause, not trophies, but quiet confidence. The unshakable trust that no matter how you feel, you can rely on yourself to act. That's discipline. That's power. That's freedom. So stop giving laziness space to grow. Stop letting comfort dictate your choices. Build structure. Build systems. Build strength. Show up early. Show up tired. Show up uncertain. But show up. Because every time you fight through laziness, every time you push past comfort, every time you choose effort when ease is calling, you build the version of yourself that cannot be stopped. And that version of you, the one who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't wait for motivation, who doesn't need permission, that version is waiting for you on the other side of discipline. So fight for it. Train for it. Earn it. Because nothing great ever comes from choosing comfort first. Most people today are exhausted. Not because they're working too hard, but because they're chasing too much. They say yes to everything. They try to do it all. They jump on every new opportunity, every new trend, every request that comes their way. They think staying busy equals staying productive. But here's the truth. Chasing everything is not success. It's distraction. It's noise. It's mental chaos. It's the illusion of progress without the reality of results. And if you don't stop it, you'll waste years running in circles. Busy but empty, tired but unfulfilled, active but never advancing. So ask yourself, what are you really chasing? Clarity? Purpose? Peace? Growth? Or are you just reacting to everything shiny that appears in front of you? Most people never stop to ask that question. They let the world decide for them. They chase what everyone else is chasing without knowing why. They confuse movement with meaning. But movement without direction is nothing more than noise. Here's what mental control really means. It's not about doing everything. It's about choosing the right things. It's about holding your focus when the world is trying to steal it. It's about knowing your direction and refusing to be pulled off course. That's not easy. It requires strength. It requires discipline. It requires the courage to say no. Because the truth is, saying no is harder than saying yes. Yes feels exciting. Yes feels easy. Yes feels like you're part of something. But real power comes from choosing what deserves your energy and letting go of everything else. Understand this, your brain is wired for distraction. It craves novelty, urgency, excitement. That's why it's so easy to bounce from task to task, trend to trend, opportunity to opportunity. And the world knows this. That's why everything is designed to pull your attention. Apps, headlines, messages, entertainment, they're built to keep you chasing. If you don't build a filter for your focus, your brain becomes a dumping ground for noise. You end up carrying tasks that don't matter, problems that aren't yours, goals that don't belong to you. And in the process, you lose yourself. So how do you stop chasing everything? Step 1, set boundaries. Decide what matters. Decide who matters. Decide what actually deserves your time and attention. If something doesn't align with your values, your goals, or your peace, it doesn't get in. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're focused. Step 2, filter your goals. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every task is worth doing. Not every path will lead to growth. You can't build a strong life while chasing 20 different directions at once. Pick a few that truly matter and commit. Because mastery doesn't come from dabbling. Mastery comes from depth. From sticking with something long enough to grow roots, to rise above mediocrity, to become unshakable. Step 3. Protect your mornings. Do not start your day in reaction. Don't let your phone, your email, or the opinions of others set your direction. Anchor yourself first. Review your goals. Ask, what's the one thing today that will move me forward? Then guard that one thing. Treat it like sacred time. Refuse to let distractions in. Even 1 hour of deep focus daily will put you ahead of people who spend their entire day scattered. Step 4. Embrace stillness. Most people are terrified of stillness. They feel like they're missing out if they're not constantly moving. But stillness is where clarity is born. When you stop chasing everything, when you sit still long enough to think, the noise fades, the fog lifts, you start to see what really matters. You don't need to do more. You need to see clearer. Step 5. Finish W. You stop chasing everything, you'll feel uncomfortable. You'll feel like you're missing something. You'll feel restless, uneasy, tempted to run back to busyness. That's normal. That's withdrawal from distraction. Sit with it. Let it pass. Because the more you practice stillness and focus, the more natural it becomes. Your brain will settle. Your thoughts will sharpen. You'll feel less rushed, less reactive, more grounded. Real mental control is not loud. It's not flashy. It's not about running faster. It's about moving with calm, steady, unshakable clarity. It's the ability to say no without guilt. The ability to stay on your path even when the world is pulling in another direction. The ability to stay focused on what matters and let the rest fade away. That's power. That's freedom. That's discipline. So stop chasing everything. Stop scattering your focus across 20 directions. Stop saying yes to things that weaken you. Stop confusing busyness with purpose. You don't need to do more. You need to commit to less and do it with everything you've got. Because the people who win aren't the ones who chase the most. They're the ones who chose the best. Choose better. Commit deeper. Build real mental control. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Every day you wait is another day wasted on noise. Your future is too valuable to spend it scattered. So stop chasing and start choosing. Focus is not something you stumble into. It's not something you find by accident. Focus is something you manage, something you protect, something you deliberately choose every single day. If you don't track where your focus is going, you'll lose it without realizing it. You'll spend hours caught in distractions. You'll bounce from one task to another. You'll feel busy but make no real progress. You'll look back at the end of the day wondering, where did all my time go? Where did my energy disappear? Why do I feel so behind when I worked so hard? That's not a time issue. That's a focus issue. Here's the hard truth. Being busy is not the same as being productive. You can spend an entire day in motion and still have nothing meaningful to show for it. You can fill your schedule with activity and still feel stuck in the same place. That's what happens when your focus is scattered. You give your best energy to things that don't matter. You let every notification, every distraction, every random thought take a piece of your attention until nothing is left for what really matters. Focus is like money. If you spend it carelessly, it's gone. And most people, they spend all their focus before noon without even realizing it. So the first step is awareness. You must learn to track your focus. Ask yourself throughout the day, where is my attention right now? What's pulling me away from what matters? What habits keep draining me without giving anything back? Because you can't protect what you don't measure. If you don't know where your focus is going, you'll always feel like it's slipping away. Start keeping a simple record. Nothing fancy. A notebook. A note on your phone. A few lines a day. Write down what stole your attention. How long it lasted. How you felt afterward. You'll start to notice patterns. Maybe social media eats an hour here. Maybe checking your phone steals 20 minutes every hour. Maybe conversations that go nowhere drain your energy. Once you see it clearly, you can change it. Because here's the truth. Most distractions are predictable. They show up in the same way, at the same time, in the same places. If you don't track them, they'll control you. But once you see them, you can cut them out. Protecting your focus means building boundaries. Boundaries with people. Boundaries with technology. Boundaries with yourself. You can't let your phone decide when your mind gets to focus. You can't let every notification demand your attention. You can't keep checking emails, messages, or updates every 5 minutes and expect to do deep work. Strong people don't rely on willpower alone. They design their environment to make focus easier and distraction harder. That means clear your desk, close and use tabs, turn off unnecessary notifications. Remove temptation instead of pretending you'll resist it. Discipline is not about being superhuman, it's about being smart. It's about making the right choice the easy choice. And here's something you need to accept. Multitasking is killing your focus. It makes you feel productive, but it's a trap. Every time you switch tasks, your brain has to readjust. That costs time, clarity, and energy. You think you're doing more, but really you're training your brain to stay shallow. You're teaching yourself to never go deep, to never hold attention long enough to create real progress. Deep work, the kind of focus that changes your life, requires full attention. One task at a time. Finish before you switch. Focus before you move on. That simple discipline will sharpen your thinking more than any app, any hack, any tool. So here's how to rebuild focus. Schedule deep work. Block out time every day where you focus on one thing. No distractions. No interruptions. No checking. Start with an hour. Build from there. Track your distractions. Write them down. Notice when and why they happen. Remove them at the root. Protect your energy. Stay away from useless conversations. Avoid negative people who drain you. Don't waste your mind arguing about things that don't matter. Unplug daily. Give your brain silence. Take breaks without your phone. Go for a walk. Let your thoughts breathe. Recovery sharpens focus. Review each day. Before bed, ask yourself, what did I give my attention to today? Was it worth it? Did it move me closer? Or just keep me busy? This is how discipline grows. Not in dramatic moments, but in quiet decisions about where your attention goes. Because your focus is your life. Where your attention flows, your future goes. If you give your focus to noise, your life becomes noise. If you give your focus to distraction, your life becomes distraction. If you give your focus to growth, your life becomes growth. Simple, direct, unavoidable. And here's the difference between the undisciplined and the disciplined. The undisciplined let focus slip without noticing. Days disappear. Energy drains. Years vanish. The disciplined notice quickly. They catch themselves drifting and bring their focus back. They recover fast. They realign. They reset. That's the hidden skill recovery. Not perfection. Not never slipping. But returning to focus quickly when you do. That's what builds strength. That's what builds momentum. That's what builds a life of consistency instead of chaos. So from now on, track your focus. Protect it like something sacred. Don't waste it on every noise. Don't scatter it across 1,000 meaningless tasks. Don't give it away to distractions that only steal your future. Guard it. Direct it. Invest it. Because once your focus is gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. But if you protect it, if you train it, if you sharpen it every single day, you'll build a life of clarity, purpose, and unstoppable progress. Routines are powerful. The right ones can change your life. They give structure, stability, and direction. They help you build habits, conserve energy, and make progress even on days when you don't feel like it. But here's the danger no one talks about. Routines can also trap you. Yes, what once helped you grow can eventually hold you back. What once pushed you forward can become the very thing that keeps you stuck. A routine that once served you can quietly turn into a prison if you never question it. Think about it. You wake up, follow the same pattern, repeat the same habits, check the same boxes. On the surface, it looks disciplined. To the outside world, it looks like you're on track. But deep down, you know you're just going through the motions. There's no challenge, no stretch, no growth. You're not improving, you're maintaining. And maintenance is not progress. The biggest danger of stale routines is that they feel safe. They feel comfortable. They convince you that because you're doing the right things, you must be moving forward. But sometimes you're not moving forward at all. You're running on a treadmill, working, sweating, spending energy, but staying in the exact same place. That's why mental discipline requires regular evaluation. You must ask yourself, does this still serve me? Does this still challenge me? Is this still aligned with the person I want to become? If the answer is no, it's time to evolve. Most people never change routines because they're afraid. They ask, what if the new routine doesn't work? What if I lose control? What if I fall behind? But here's the truth. The greater risk is staying stuck in patterns that no longer push you. Because the longer you stay in routines that don't serve you, the more years you waste doing the same things the same way for the same results. And wasted years don't come back. Here's what you need to understand. Your routines should evolve with your goals. The habits that got you started may not be enough to take you to the next level. Maybe in the beginning, your routine was just waking up earlier, reading 10 minutes a day, exercising lightly, or writing in a journal. Those were powerful first steps. They helped you escape laziness, build momentum, and create structure. But now, you're capable of more. And yet, you're still living inside the beginner's loop. The same easy workouts, the same safe habits, the same predictable patterns. No challenge, no edge, no progress. That's how people plateau. Not because they're lazy, but because they outgrow their routines without realizing it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. What once built you will eventually limit you if you don't evolve. If your routine never challenges you, it's no longer discipline. It's autopilot. And autopilot is dangerous, because autopilot doesn't care where you're going. It just repeats yesterday. But you weren't built to repeat yesterday. You were built to grow. So how do you break free from routines that keep you stuck? Step 1. Identify what feels too easy. If it's too comfortable, it's not growing you anymore. Step 2. Introduce discomfort back into the system. That might mean heavier workouts. That might mean deeper work sessions. That might mean longer focus blocks. That might mean harder conversations, bigger risks, new skills. Step 3. Change your environment. A new space, a new setting, a new perspective can disrupt stale habits and force fresh thinking. Step 4. Upgrade your standards. Don't just repeat habits. Raise them, push them, evolve them. And here's the shift. Letting go of routines doesn't mean losing discipline. It means leveling up your discipline. It means trusting yourself to build new structures, trusting yourself to handle change, trusting yourself to create systems that serve who you're becoming, not just who you used to be. Most people get stuck because they think, if I change my routine, I'll lose progress. But the opposite is true. If you never change, you'll never gain progress. You'll just preserve the same results you already have. Some routines are like old clothes. They fit once. They served you once. But they don't fit anymore. And just like you wouldn't wear shoes that are too small, you shouldn't keep living inside routines that no longer fit your future. Good enough is not the goal. You're not building a life for good enough. You're building a life for growth. So stop clinging to the familiar just because it's easy. Letting go isn't failure. Letting go is evolution. But be careful. Some routines are sneaky. They disguise themselves as discipline when in reality they're just comfort. For example, doing the same workout because it's familiar, not because it's effective. Following the same schedule because it's easy, not because it's efficient. Working the same way because it's safe, not because it's challenging. Ask yourself daily, am I growing or am I just going through the motions? If you're not growing, it's time to shake things up. And yes, change feels uncomfortable, but that's the point. Discomfort is proof that you're stretching. Discomfort is evidence that you're alive. Discomfort is the signal that you're moving forward instead of standing still. You don't need to change everything at once. Start small. Add one new challenge. Remove one stale pattern. Shift one piece of your day. That's how you evolve without losing momentum. The truth is, routines should be tools, not cages. They should help you, not trap you. They should create movement, not repetition. They should challenge you, not sedate you. And if they don't, you must have the courage to let them go. Because your time is limited. Your energy is precious. And your future deserves more than yesterday's routine. So let go of the patterns that no longer serve you. Not because you're giving up, but because you're leveling up. Not because you're bored, but because you're ready for more. Not because they failed you, but because they've already served their purpose. Your job now is to evolve, to adapt, to design routines that fit the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's wisdom. That's growth. Pressure is the ultimate test of discipline. It's easy to feel in control when life is smooth. It's easy to be calm when nothing is challenging you. It's easy to stay focused when everything is predictable. But life isn't smooth. Life isn't predictable. Life will push you, test you, overwhelm you, and drop weight on your shoulders when you least expect it. The question is not whether pressure will come. The question is whether you'll collapse under it or stand tall in the middle of it. Most people break under pressure because they've never trained their minds to handle it. They panic. They overreact. They spiral. They waste energy worrying about things they can't control. They let fear, anger, or stress make their decisions for them. And afterward, they regret it. They say, I wish I had stayed calm. I wish I had handled that better. I wish I didn't let my emotions take over. But wishing doesn't change anything. Training does. Here's the truth. Staying calm under pressure is not a gift. It's a skill you build, a muscle you strengthen, a habit you practice daily until it becomes who you are. That's mental discipline at its highest level. The ability to stay grounded in chaos, steady in storms, calm when everything around you is falling apart. Because pressure doesn't destroy you. Panic does. Stress doesn't break you. Overreaction does. Life doesn't crush you. Your mind does when you let it spin out of control. So how do you build calm under pressure? Step 1. Pause before reacting. The fastest way to ruin a situation is to react instantly with emotion. Anger says words you regret. Fear makes decisions you don't mean. Stress blinds you to obvious solutions. The disciplined mind doesn't rush. Takes a breath. Pauses. Creates space between trigger and response. That small pause is where your power lives. Step 2. Control your breathing. Your breath is the remote control of your nervous system. When stress rises, your breathing becomes shallow, fast, chaotic, and your body follows. But when you slow your breath, deepen it, steady it, your mind follows. This is why elite athletes, soldiers, leaders all train their breathing. Because under pressure, your breath decides whether your mind scatters or stays sharp. Simple rule. Slow down, breathe deep, take control. Step 3. Focus on what you can control. Pressure feels overwhelming because we waste energy on things outside our control. Other people's opinions, unpredictable events, the unknown future. The disciplined mind cuts that out. It asks, what's in my hands right now? And then it acts. Direct, clear, precise. That shift changes everything. Because you move from helpless to powerful. From scattered to focused. From overwhelmed to grounded. Step 4. Shrink the moment. When pressure rises, the mind exaggerates. It makes problems feel bigger than they are. Convinces you the world is ending, that everything is ruined, that you can't handle it. But the truth? Most pressure is temporary. Most problems shrink when you face them directly. So instead of saying, this is impossible, ask, What's the next step? What can I do right now? Discipline is not solving everything at once. It's solving one thing at a time, calmly, steadily, until the weight lifts. Step 5. Train daily in small stresses. You don't build calm in chaos by waiting for chaos. You build it in small ways every day. Take cold showers to train your body not to panic under discomfort. Do hard workouts to train your mind to push past pressure. Face small fears instead of running from them. Every small test builds resilience. Every small practice trains your nervous system. Every small act of calm under discomfort prepares you for bigger storms. And here's the secret. Calmness is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not doing nothing. Calmness is control. Calmness is power. Calmness is clarity. Because in pressure, the calm mind sees what the chaotic mind misses. The calm mind sees solutions. The calm mind sees options. The calm mind sees through the fog and finds the way forward. That's why the calm person always looks stronger. Not because life is easier for them, but because they refuse to give their power away to panic. But here's the warning. Building calm will test you. You will want to explode. You will want to react. You will feel the pull of fear, anger, frustration. And in those moments, your training will decide who you are. If you've practiced stillness, you'll stay steady. If you've practiced focus, you'll stay clear. If you've practiced control, you'll stay powerful. But if you haven't trained, you'll collapse into chaos. That's why calmness is a daily discipline, not a one-time choice. So remember, pressure is not the enemy. It's the test. It's the stage where all your discipline is revealed. It's the weight that shows whether you're weak or strong. Anyone can look focused when nothing's wrong. But only the disciplined shine when everything goes wrong. That's who you're becoming. The person who doesn't just survive pressure but thrives in it. Because you've trained your mind to stay calm. You've built the habit of control. You've mastered the art of stillness under stress. And that discipline, that unshakable calm, will carry you further than talent, luck, or opportunity ever could. Discipline is not about looking tough. It's not about pretending you don't feel pain, stress, or fear. It's about building a mind so strong, so steady, so unshakable, that no storm, no pressure, no setback can pull you apart. Because life will test you. It will test your patience. It will test your focus. It will test your consistency. It will test your strength when you're at your weakest. And in those moments, your habits, your discipline, your mental training are the only things that stand between you and collapse. Here's the truth. Most people don't lose. And if you train your mind daily, you become unshakable. So what does it mean to build an unshakable mind? It means you don't chase everything, you choose what matters. It means you protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. It means you evolve your routines instead of staying stuck in comfort. It means you stay calm when life throws weight on your shoulders. It means you finish what you start, no matter how long it takes. It means you live by principle, not by impulse. Building an unshakable mind doesn't happen in one day. It happens in the small daily battles you win with yourself. The battle to get up when you feel tired. The battle to stay focused when distractions call. The battle to keep pushing when progress feels slow. The battle to stay calm when the world is testing you. Every battle you win makes you stronger. Every battle you lose is a lesson to adjust. Every battle compounds. Until one day you realize you've built a mind that doesn't break under pressure. And here's something powerful. People will notice. They'll notice how you don't panic when others do. They'll notice how you don't chase noise or trends. They'll notice how you stay consistent when most quit. They'll notice how you carry yourself with quiet control, steady energy, unshakable focus. That's influence. That's respect. That's leadership. Because the calm, disciplined mind naturally becomes the strongest presence in the room. But remember, discipline is not punishment. It's not about making life harder for yourself. It's about creating a life that works. A life with clarity. A life with focus. A life where you actually move forward instead of staying stuck. Undisciplined people live in chaos. Disciplined people live in control. Undisciplined people react. Disciplined people choose. Undisciplined people hope. Disciplined people build. That's the difference. So where do you go from here? You start small. You build discipline in one area. You strengthen your focus one day at a time. You practice calmness in one difficult situation. You finish one thing you've been avoiding. And then you do it again, and again, and again, until the habits stack, until the small victories add up, until your mind becomes so strong that breaking is no longer an option. And when life tests you, and it will, you'll be ready. When setbacks come, you won't quit. When distractions call, you won't chase. When pressure rises, you won't panic. When comfort tempts you, you won't fold. Because you've built something rare, an unshakable mind. A mind that can't be manipulated. A mind that can't be distracted. A mind that can't be broken. That is the highest form of freedom. That is the highest form of strength. So here's your call to action. Stop waiting. Stop drifting. Stop saying someday. Start now. Today. This moment. Build your discipline brick by brick. Protect your focus hour by hour. Choose calmness moment by moment. And watch as your life transforms. Not because of luck. Not because of chance. Not because of some miracle. But because you finally built the mental foundation to carry the life you deserve. The world doesn't need more noise. The world doesn't need more people chasing everything. The world needs more people with clarity. More people with calmness. More people with discipline. Be that person. Be the one who moves different. Be the one who stays steady under pressure. Be the one who builds in silence, protects their energy, and grows stronger every single day. Because the world can break a weak mind in seconds. But it cannot break a disciplined one. And from this moment forward, that's who you are.